monster on the run.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Jason. That's Deacon. We are your internet dads. We meet here most of the time on rumble.com/internet dads or youtube.com/internet dads or secretly on Facebook because I don't know how to use Facebook. 40. I'm a terrible old person. Aren't old people required to know how to use Facebook?
I can use IRC. Probably.
Yeah. Join our bulletin board.
Join our bulletin board. Join our news group. There's taking you back to the OG internet, the freaking news groups, man.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. What's going on?
Do you ever think about how like life reflects art? Certainly art reflects life because, the mind of the artist is consumed with certain ideas or whatever, and then they write that into their art. But sometimes life replicates art. You ever? Okay.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Well, all right. So,
Are you just kicking off a story here right off the bat?
Should I not?
Well, no, I didn't know if we had a little. We usually gab a little bit, but that's cool. But this is cool. All right. What?
Well, I just don't know. I don't know.
Give us an example of life imitating art.
Okay. So back in 2006, there was a movie.
Yeah.
The name of the show today is Snakes on a Plane. Did you watch Snakes on a Plane?
No.
Huh?
No. I have never seen that movie. I do love B movies, okay? But I don't like the forced jokes. I just said to some buddies the other day, I said that the new Naked Gun trailer, the first one looked good.
Okay.
But the second one has completely shattered my confidence in this movie because the jokes that they picked for the trailer are some of the most common jokes that we have heard for years and years.
Okay, so we're saying the Naked Gun movie is making low effort jokes.
To me. So I never watched Snakes on a Plane because it seemed to me like they were trying to make a B movie, and you can't try to make a B movie.
Well, that's
it
doesn't. It's not the same. It doesn't have the same spirit of like we really tried to make a movie and we just couldn't.
But this is coming from the same person who watched Velocipaster.
Is that any good? I had it on my list, but I couldn't make it through there.
Terrible.
All right, before we get into today's story, I feel obligated. I must. So if it's been a hot minute since you've seen the Snakes on a Plane trailer,
yes,
we
had like real stories, and you have this.
Oh yeah, this is such a real story. This is such a real story.
I don't want to watch this. You don't want to? No, go ahead.
And unleash. You see the potato quality footage of trailers from 2006?
Rick?
Does not hold up.
Rick!
The jump scares don't really work if the trailer is so blurry that you can't see the snakes on a plane. So at perhaps the height of Samuel Jackson's career, that's Samuel Jackson's mushy sort of face. He was in this movie called Snakes on a Plane. Well, this morning, the only story that I saw that was interesting was that a plane passenger in India. Oh, yeah, you can see it. You can see him there.
Hang on. I'm going to let you. Here's the most famous line.
Enough is enough. I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. Everybody strap in.
That's a TV edit. That's the TV edit. I got news for you. On set, that is not the words he used.
You mean he did not say
with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane?
Monday to Friday.
What's sad is he actually said that in one of the takes. This is not edited.
I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday play.
He said that.
Believe it. I don't believe that.
We did not have the technology that we have today. When this
ADR, we can do ADR.
No, if they would have dubbed over, I'm going to tell you exactly what I would have done. If they were going to dub that over and they did not have him doing that, they had to have him come back in and say that edit for the TV, you would have seen this right here. You would have seen a still shot or another shot. You would not have seen his mouth moving to say that. I'll give you if you watch game shows, listen for the edits for the host. They won't show his face. They'll show the audience.
Yeah, that's the easy way to do that.
I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this
I'm sorry, it looks to me like the dialogue does not match his mouth.
Does. I would have, if I was the audio guy in a movie, I would have straight up been like, is this going to TV? Okay, here's the movie line and here's the TV line. That would save me so much time. And I'm only saying as somebody that's cut stuff for 30 years, not for movies, but you pre-look at stuff like this. Oh my God. I have generic spots. So I'm not like, coming up Friday, July the 15th, we're going, no, coming up Friday, we're going to be out at, it's generic. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of language that he was using, I would not be surprised if they did extra takes knowing that it was going to get censored.
Yeah.
But
that's
that
exactly
looks to me like ADR.
No, you can believe that. I don't believe that. I mean, I've seen what they used to send us, especially in the early 2000s, the record singles that they would send to the radio stations. Okay. And these singles were completely different from the album version of the song.
Okay.
And not completely different, but they're different. Yeah. They've said something different. I would have a CD single of like, what's the one, Everlast, What It's Like. You remember that song? What It's Like.
Oh, okay.
On that single that they sent to the radio station, there were like 7 versions. All right. And the one that we played was the most edited version, where they edited every little word and moved it around. But there were other versions for, like, in New York City, they could get away with saying certain words that we would get, we would get complaints for down here. So they could play certain stuff in the bigger cities that we can't. There's only certain words that you will get fined for, but it's really uncouth. I'm not going to get on the radio and go, hey, you bastard, that guy was a bastard.
Plus, you'll lose audience. You will just lose audience. Even if people aren't just offended by it, some people will be like, I don't want my kids
not listening to this guy. Yeah. So you got to know but if I was in New York, I'd be like, yeah, that bastard's blah, 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 blah. That's not a big deal. So.
All right.
I honestly think they probably had him do several takes.
I wouldn't be surprised, other than I believe that Samuel Jackson's one of those guys that's like, let's do a take and be done. Like there's some actors that are like, let's just do one take.
Yeah, but honestly, he's an experienced actor. He should know that if he wants to make more money and this thing goes on TV, he probably needs to take another 15 minutes and do this. What I always hated about it was the fact that you couldn't come up with a better line than monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
So I feel like the writer's room was like, we have to come up with some combinations of words that work. And they were like, we can't say monkey fighting the whole time. That don't work. We can't just have him say monkey fighting. So they had to come up with they had a list, they're like,
we need M words followed by F words. Go. Monday to Friday. Monkey fight
down the list. Yeah. All right. I don't know. All right. Well, the reason why we got bit by this blast from the past is, by the way, that was like 19 years ago that movie came out. It's
going to be pointless to go to my stories. I'm just going to close them all.
Oh no, don't do that, because I couldn't find any. This is the
all mine are very political.
Serious?
Stories.
You got serious stories?
Hello there.
Deacon's got to go do meet and greet at the office there, folks. Folk, maybe. So it turns out that if you take an airplane flight from Thailand to India, there is a non-zero chance that your plane will literally have snakes on it. Plane passenger in India caught with 16 live snakes in luggage, including a rhinoceros rat snake.
Yeah.
Let's see if any of these sources have photos. 16 live snakes on a plane from Thailand to India.
What kind of snakes?
Well, at least one rhino rat snake. A rhino rat snake's got a big old pointy nose like it's a unicorn, or I guess a rhinoceros. Indian customs officials in Mumbai seized 16 live snakes from a passenger arriving in Thailand. Oh, it was going from India to Thailand. That actually makes more sense. The snakes included non-venomous reptiles commonly sold in the pet trade, according to customs officials. Earlier in June, customs officers also intercepted a passenger smuggling dozens of venomous spiders from Thailand. So there's some sort of like weird exchange of snakes from India in for venomous vipers, not spiders. I just can't read. Venomous vipers from Thailand. Thailand and India are just swapping snakes.
What kind though? Like, does it say what kind?
I don't know. Let's see. Can't deal with ads too well. Let's see. No, it doesn't say what kind. I'm just
curious. My curious mind's going, what would, if there is a viper trade between these two countries, why would there be a viper trade? One of the most obvious reasons I would think would be for the poison, to make anti-poison and antitoxin.
Okay.
So they would.
So that's almost a good reason.
That almost is a good reason, but there's a good reason that bad people do, bad stuff for good reasons sometimes. They do.
Yeah.
All
right. So if you're
trying to think of logical reasons for a viper,
if you're getting venomous vipers from Thailand into India to make medicine, is it because some of the other venomous vipers that you brought into India separately bit somebody?
No. I mean, you got to have antitoxins.
I guess so. All right. So all I'm saying is, if you're gonna fly between India and Thailand, either way, there's just a chance you might have snakes on your plane.
If you were telling me you're flying from India to Thailand or either one of any one of those places, I'm immediately, because I'm a very bad person. I'm a sinner. I'm always going to be a sinner, but I'm immediately going to judge you. If you tell me I'm going to Thailand, I'm judging you immediately, unless I got a little bit more information on why you're going to Thailand, and then I'm still going to judge you.
Thailand has got just a very bad reputation for tourism.
No reason you should be taking tourism.
No good reason.
There's only one reason you're going over there, and that's not a good reason. All right.
I do want to try this. I just did
snakes.
I did a fact check as to whether or not monkey fighting actually happens between monkeys and snakes, and I don't think monkeys actually fight snakes. So mongooses do. So he should have said mongoose fighting
Rikki Tikki Tavi. You never read Rikki Tikki Tavi?
Is that a monkey?
That's a mongoose.
Yeah, mongoose. So mongooses fight snakes. All right, that's my big story.
That's your big story.
What I want to know is about your shirt. That I seem to recall you wearing that shirt before. What is that shirt? It's marching.
It's our marching shirt.
Marching Marshals. That's so obviously you've worn it before because of your school band, and you are a helper on the school band, aren't you? Or aren't you like a roadie band dad?
Is the shirt freaking you out? Or are you
not exactly a roadie?
Trying to point out the fact that I had on this shirt yesterday.
Were you wearing that shirt yesterday? Do you have like a bunch of them?
I've got 2 of them.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because otherwise,
Ashley has one and I have one, so I just grabbed the shirt and then I was like, I think I wore this shirt yesterday because my goatee is getting long enough to where I'm having to actually comb it in the morning, and I'm gonna have to because I sleep and it all goes to one side, so I've got to brush.
I recommend oil. You know, I mean, I was probably 10 years growing a beard before I was like, oh, you're supposed to put oil on this thing, moisturize it.
Oh, really? You didn't? A couple of big things. Now that we've got the humongous Snakes on a Plane story out of the way, let's go to a couple of the smaller things right here.
All right.
Yesterday, I don't know if you seen this or not, but yesterday the Department of Justice announced they took down one of the largest health insurance frauds in American history. These criminal organizations, a lot from other countries, were setting up false companies to bill Medicare and Medicaid along with all kinds of other stuff. And they basically stole over 1 million Americans' identities by doing this.
Who is this?
All kinds of different people that the Department of Justice busted in this Medicare fraud yesterday. I've got a clip here. I mean, the clip's kind of long, but we can listen to it a little bit. And
all right, let's find out what's going on. We need to know what's going on in the world, Deacon.
I've been paying attention to this.
This looks like an SNL skit. Are you sure this is real?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Gagliotti, and I'm the head of the Justice Department's Criminal Division.
Chris Farley's going to come out any minute and bust on the podium.
Is that Amy Fowler right there?
That's Amy Fowler, and that's that one guy that laughs.
Oh yeah, that guy. He's very.
No, here we go.
All for joining us today as we announce the largest coordinated healthcare fraud takedown in the history of the Department of Justice. Today marks a decisive moment in our fight to protect American taxpayers from fraudsters and to defend the integrity of America's healthcare system. We are announcing today charges against 324 defendants for their alleged participation in healthcare fraud schemes involving approximately $14.6 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs. In a takedown this large, I can't possibly describe all of the work that went into dismantling each scheme, but there are 4 key points that bear emphasizing. First, let me be clear about what these healthcare fraud schemes mean for every hardworking American family. These criminals didn't just steal someone else's money. They stole from you. Every fraudulent claim, every fake billing, every kickback scheme represents money taken directly from the pockets of American taxpayers who fund these essential programs through their hard work and sacrifice.
And
when criminals...
Okay. Got it. The government kind of is the one taking the money in the first place. Like we didn't just give them money over. Like,
I agree with you. I'm not just, it's my hard work.
I didn't contribute.
You are coming to my house and beating me over the head and taking the gold out of my pocket.
If I didn't give you that money, you would put me in jail.
Yeah. You're
sorry you got robbed.
Yeah, I'd hate for your place to get burned down. It's got a really nice place here. All right, so let's keep going.
Defraud these programs, they're not just committing theft. They're driving up our national deficit and threatening the long-term viability of healthcare for seniors, disabled Americans, and our most vulnerable citizens.
Illegal immigrants.
This enforcement action involves the seizure of cash, as well as luxury vehicles and properties, returning real money to American taxpayers and to our government healthcare programs.
I had a problem with that when I first listened to it because it's not returning real money to the taxpayers. It's returning all that shit to the government.
Yeah. So, the government's going to get that money back. And they're
second,
going to spend it.
We're seeing a disturbing trend of transnational criminal organizations engaging in increasingly sophisticated and complex criminal schemes that defraud the American healthcare system. As part of this takedown, we've identified and charged defendants operating from Russia, Eastern Europe, Pakistan, and other foreign countries. These individuals have infiltrated our healthcare system to steal American taxpayer dollars.
This is
As just one example, we dismantled a scheme involving a sophisticated operation run from Russia and Eastern Europe that strategically bought dozens of medical supply companies in the United States and submitted more than $10 billion in fraudulent healthcare claims to Medicare.
So did you hear what he just said companies in Eastern Europe and Russia, which Ukraine is in Eastern Europe, so is a lot of other countries, but they bought strategically, he used the word strategically bought these medical companies around the country and falsely billed $10 billion.
That is a lot of money.
From them. Just from them.
That's a lot of
Isn't
money.
That crazy, man? So, yeah.
You know, you think like, oh, I'm going to try this thing and I'm going to get away with it. No, I made $500,000. And then you try it like 2,000 more times and you make $10 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I can't believe they're not catching on to me. I got $10 million over here.
The alleged $14.6 billion in fraud is more than twice the previous record in the Justice Department's annual healthcare fraud crackdown. It includes nearly 190 federal cases and more than 90 state cases that have been charged or unsealed since June the 9th. Nearly 100 licensed medical professionals were charged, including 25 doctors, and the government reported $2.9 billion in actual losses.
I mean, obviously, I'm not on that. I'm not on the side of people stealing money. But the people that they're stealing money from also stole the money. So
it's not done by small-time operators, said Dr. Mehmet Oz, who leads the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. These are organized syndicates who are designed to hurt America. Sorry, I'm burping.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, I got a couple of more things here. Another big thing that actually just freaking came up. Let me open this up. And you obviously know that President Trump's big, beautiful bill that he loves, and Elon does not like the big, beautiful bill. Elon has recently come out to say that, if this bill goes through and whatnot, he is immediately going to start supporting every partisan candidate against a Republican. And he is
primary challenger to anyone that supports that bill.
And he is to all Republicans. And he said let me finish the sentence.
Yeah.
He said he is going to start the third party, the American Party. He is tired of the two-party, uniparty, Democrat, Republican, and he said if this gets started, he is going to start the American Party immediately. So this morning I saw this come down from Donald J. Trump. He says, Elon knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate. It is ridiculous, and I was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidy than any human being in history, by far, and without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production, and our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Doge take a good hard look at this. Big money to be saved. So they're fighting each other.
They sure are. Yeah.
So look for that to come up, but that's not what I was wanting to. The other story that I had this morning was that have you heard about the census thing that they're trying to pass?
What's going on here?
Marjorie Taylor Greene is backing, or has a new bill, and President Trump is backing it, that would exclude illegal immigrants from the census. So once that is law, the U.S. Census would be required to conduct a new census immediately, which would maybe cause Democrats to be poised to lose House seats and electoral college votes.
Well, if that's okay, that'll be challenged, I'm sure. If that and it should be passed, and it should be challenged, constitutional. It should go to the court, and the court should make a ruling on this. I do believe that only citizens should be counted for apportionment of representation, but that is not currently what the Constitution says. So it'll be, but because this is a constitutional thing, it'll be challenged. So we'll have to see where the court lands on this. However, if this kind of thing passes and becomes law, where only citizens are allowed to be counted for congressional representation, Democrats will lose a lot of seats, a lot.
Yeah,
because California is the largest state in terms of representatives by far,
and illegal immigrants, I would guess.
Yeah, and a lot of that, and a lot of that is illegal immigrants, which they've, I mean, like you're talking about like healthcare funding and stuff. And California has a program for illegal immigrants to have free healthcare.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a massive magnet, and once Democrats start losing political power because of it, they will turn on immigrants like so fast. It'll be very shocking. That's interesting. Bill probably won't pass. It'll get blocked up by
absolutely. But I love the fact that it's there.
Yeah. I mean, this should be a thing that we talk about at least. Like who gets to decide who gets American power and representation? It ought to be citizens. I think morally and ethically you can make that argument, but the other side will say, well, anybody that lives here deserves representation, I'm like, well, yeah, but you're not a citizen.
Laws, man. You got to follow the laws, man. You got to follow the laws, man.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you.
Somebody said something the other day on some video. I don't remember who it was to give credit to, but it was like, they know how to solve this really quickly. And it was start a program, an exchange program with these countries for all these liberals that want to leave America. We will trade you for somebody in that country that wants to come over here. And we will give you $40,000 to get started. We'll take care of all of your stuff, but you have to renounce your citizenship to the United States and never come back. And we will gladly start this exchange program. All you liberals that are wanting to go overseas, we'll give you 40 grand, send you over there. You got to renounce your citizenship, and we'll take somebody from over there that wants to come over here to America. I think that's a good idea.
They'll never take that up. They'll never agree to that. Oh man. Let's see. I want to pull up an asset to show off this story that I have. Let me go here, I guess. I don't want to do that.
I got another story for you.
Yeah, okay. I got a kind of a sad story, but let's do yours. Let's do yours first.
Let me do this one. I want to show you this picture here, and I want you to see if you can find what's wrong with this picture.
All
okay?
right.
Do you remember these games as a kid? Tell me what's wrong with this picture. Oh, let me move my. Now move your thing too, so you can see everything.
Sure.
Okay, now tell me what's wrong with this. Where's the error you see?
Delaware sex offender registry.
Yeah.
Not in prison. Not convicted out of state. Not a repeat offender. Oh. Wow.
Do you see anything wrong?
For a white person, he's got a dark complexion, but
he's got a tan.
Yeah.
I think he's got a real good tan.
Interesting.
Okay, so that is not an error. Let me show you another one here.
Why is that? What do you mean? I think race is imaginary anyway.
Look, this is in Texas. The Texas Public Sex Offender website. You could look this up yourself.
All right.
There's Mr. I'm not going to call these people Mr. There's all these people, white, obviously white. Jesus and Jose are obviously white.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Nathaniel Little Brave is absolutely a white person's name.
Yeah.
Jerome Ghost Dog. That is not a native name whatsoever. That is a Caucasian name. White. Ethnicity.
Big fan of that movie.
Look at this one. Ethnicity, non-Hispanic.
All right. Oh, it's jeez. We live in the 20. This is the 21st century. You can be anything you want to be.
Yeah, okay, I'm a fire truck. But listen to me. What this is doing is we're sitting here making fun of this, but what this is doing, what in the crap just happened?
We have no cameras. You turned everything off.
We turned our cameras off. My bad. What this is doing, though, is messing with the statistics. When you have statistics and you say 13% of the population is committing 60% of the crimes, and you start having stuff like this, well, 10 years from now, they're going to go, well, in 2025, there was an uptick in white arrests in Texas. They're not going to remember that it was Mr. Proudfoot and Jamal, Jose.
Right.
This is messing with the statistics.
Do we have any counterbalancing white dudes that are claiming to be black though? Can we average it out so that on average it's okay? You think?
I feel it.
Or are they all just considered white?
Well, I mean,
does your state have I'm sure you do have some sort of an offender registry.
Yeah.
Where you can, so I don't want to put my map on here, but if I go down to,
dude, it's scary. If you've never typed in your address to your little sex offender registry, I don't suggest you do it. It's really, really scary how many are living really close to you.
Hey, there's nobody in my neighborhood. At least my cul-de-sac. If you go across the street, it's no bueno. But you go down here to the south a little bit, and that's not good. But I got a good neighborhood. Anytime you're buying a house or you're looking to move, you should definitely look at that too.
I don't stray from this topic, but as soon as I start talking, this freaking horn's going to go. But if I don't talk about the topic, he's not going to say anything. See, let's talk about comic books and Rob Liefeld. He's not going to say anything. But as soon as I say what the topic that I'm going to talk about, not all, and I'm just saying this because I'm one of these people that you've got to. I don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Not all people on the sex offender registry list are the people you think they are. Some people get on that list for other things.
Yeah.
That you're like, really? Okay. But, they're still on that list for a reason.
There's always extenuating circumstances.
Right.
Usually like
99% of the time though, it's like, yeah, what you think. Probably.
Usually you can look, on the registry, you can look up the case and you can see like what the case was and like who they offended. And if it was a minor or just like some sort of a domestic thing gone awry.
Did we talk about the Supreme Court stuff? Did we talk about the Muslim guy in New York? Where did we talk about that at? Was that in our Discord server that we were kind of talking about the Muslim guy that's running for?
No, I don't know about that.
Avenger, AVG was talking about it.
Oh, was he? Oh, he said he was going to get
Mamdani says white neighborhoods should pay higher property taxes. Mamdani. Let's read this. Zohran Mamdani. He is running for New York mayor.
I just love that these Democrats are 100% behind absolutely racist policies. They're like.
So Wikipedia is telling me that he was born October 18th, 1991, but it doesn't say. Let's see. Was born in Uganda. His father is Mahmoud Mandanri, a former Indian Ugandan Muslim descent. He's a Muslim. If his father was a Muslim, he's a Muslim. That's how that religion goes.
I mean, people can choose other things, but
if they do, then by that Muslim, by the Quran, he is punishable by death. I think I might be wrong on that, but
30-year-old Muslim.
That was all my big Obama argument. I was like, Obama's real dad was a Muslim. He was a Muslim. He's a Muslim.
There's no way that he has a lead over him.
Yeah. The most Jewish city in the U.S. elects a Muslim that advocates for their death.
Wow. Yeah, but they're open-minded. It's important to be
progressive
and open-minded.
As long as they ask for his pronouns first, I'm guessing everything will be okay.
So it's running for mayor? He's running for mayor?
Yeah, that's when AVG said something about... he said, "Yeah, we're cooked."
Mamdani.
Yeah, I've never thought about a war with New York City. I said that should be interesting. And then Do-Good made the Civil War joke that went right over my freaking head. I didn't even catch it, man. It was so good, I just missed it.
Oh, I don't.
So join our Discord server and see all of our fun conversations.
What's happening over there? There's conversations.
Internet Dad Show Discord server.
All right. I have a sad story, and I want to talk about it before the show's over.
Oh,
Do you remember, right? Is it possible for me to show this picture? Can I just... I guess I'll just do it like this. Do you see... Oh. You remember this cover right here?
Oh, I knew this is what you were going to talk about. I was very sad about this. I saw this last night. It was greatly upsetting because 4, 5, 6 years ago, I got to see Jim Shooter at Lexington Comic Con. He was sitting there signing autographs, signing comic books. There was 5 or 6 people in line. As me and Ashley and the kids walked by, I was like, "Oh my God, there's Jim Shooter." And she was like, "Is he famous?" I'm like, "Oh my God, he created Thanos." He's, I gotta, and I remember saying, I wonder if I can go and find like a Thanos #1 at one of these comic places and go get him to sign, just something that I could get him to sign.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I just stood there and took a couple of pictures of him signing, and I didn't go up and shake his hand. And Ashley was like, "Why didn't you go talk to him?" I was like, "Because in my world, that's like a famous guy."
Yeah.
That's so, like when I walked around the corner and saw Jay Lee standing there with nobody at his booth, I was like, my heart started beating. She was like,
yeah, that would make me so sad.
Famous people. Like Jim Shooter is a very famous guy in my world.
Yeah. Jim Shooter, famously as editor-in-chief of Marvel. And in the early 1980s, Marvel had some problems. They couldn't make any TV licensing things work. Their, business, the entire economy was down. It was very hard. And Marvel's gone through a lot of these phases where they can't sell books because for whatever reasons. Then it was the economy. Now it's because everything is rainbow agenda.
But Jim Shooter was one of those that he could sell books.
So in this era, what we had Hasbro and Mattel and other toy manufacturers putting cartoons on TV to sell action figures. And Jim Shooter had this idea of like, what if we bring all of the heroes together into one comic book and had this big old slugfest or whatever, and then they could sell toys license out their characters for toys because they'd all be in one book and it'd be easier to sell the toys. And that series became Secret War, which was the origin of the black suit Spider-Man. And
it's going to be basically these movies coming out.
Yeah.
This next series of movies is basically a loose telling that we're assuming of Secret War.
It'll probably be more of the 2015 kind of
right, but I guarantee you that there's going to be parts from
for sure.
And if Marvel doesn't give Jim Shooter some sort of nod
in
remembrance to this, I am going to be so pissed off because I hate Stan Lee. And the way that people think about the way that we have brainwashed, that they have brainwashed people about Stan Lee is truly mind-blowing, baffling. How that should be a lesson in 200 years. This should be a lesson in brainwashing on how you can brainwash the masses. Stan Lee.
Yeah. Well,
it's guys like Jim Shooter that should be as famous as Stan Lee. But you come up and you say, Jim Shooter passed away, and the average person's going to be like, oh, who's that? But if you said Stan Lee passed away, oh, the guy from the movies, the comic book guy. Jack Kirby.
Jim Shooter.
I don't know who that is. Oh,
had a huge impact on Marvel in the 1980s, and then it eventually left Marvel and ran Valiant for a little while. And I guess
Valiant had a lot of great stories, a lot of great books back in the day. Bloodshot.
Bloodshot and Exo Manowar and
Manowar.
I think Shadow, like not the Shadow, but like there was a I can't remember. Was Rye. So Jim Shooter had a big impact, and you know, like us, he checked out like everybody does, but big impact on pop culture more than just Marvel.
Solar Man of Adam.
Yeah, Solar Man of Adam. I remember reading those in the 90s too.
I did too.
So he made a bigger dent. He made a big dent in pop culture.
He created Thanos.
Yeah.
He created Thanos.
Yeah. So that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. I was like, oh, I saw it last night actually.
It wasn't so much a story that he told as the idea of like, because that was the first time that we had like, I mean, maybe there was a time before that, but I don't remember. That was the first major crossover event. And it really wasn't about like telling a story. It was just a story to sell toys. But nonetheless, that became a big crossover event. And the story had ramifications, so much so that they went and did Secret Wars 2. And then in 2015, they did Secret Wars again, a different version where Doctor Doom was like the God Emperor. And that was good. But so he's left his footprint in Marvel history. And I just wanted to mention it. All right. I have a book here. Where did I put it?
They just restored the funding for Medicaid for illegal aliens to the big beautiful bill, in addition to restoring funding for sex changes for children.
Well, somebody's got to pay for that. Who's going to pay for that if we don't add that to the big beautiful bill? Who are you? Do you have a team right now? I don't have a team. Trump, Elon, I don't care. So,
I don't care either.
I mean, I don't know. I definitely don't like the threats that Trump's making against Elon. But on the other hand, I mean, I get it because, you know, like Trump's in the White House and he has more than one agenda. He has a bunch of different agendas. He has to balance a bunch of different coalitions, energy people, you know, international, whatever. I mean, I understand if he can't just be siding with free speech or what have you, but no, I don't really care. They'll figure it out. Or they won't, and we'll have a Democrat for 8 years. Won't that be fun?
Yay.
Fight yourselves. Good. All right. Do we have anything else important?
I don't have anything else impotent.
Man, that's a bummer that Jim died. He hasn't been really active in a long time, though.
I think he was going to be at the Lexington Comic Con again. He liked to go up there. I like the Comic Cons, but they're starting to get to the point to where it's just, we're going now just because we've gone. You know, it's not like I'm going to find anything or I'm specifically looking for anything or we're dressing up. One year I was wanting to do everybody as Bob's Burgers. Okay, I wanted to dress up like Bob from Bob's Burgers, have Ashley be the wife and have all the kids, and we had them all. And I had this idea that we were going to pass out cards that had the recipes for his special burgers on the back, you know, and it was going to be funny. We were going to do a little cosplay thing, but we never done it. And I don't know. When you go to the Comic-Con, there's like 4 booths that are very interesting to me. If there's not any riders or anything like that, like purchasable stuff. All the rest of the stuff is like comics, all right? Comics that you can find at the comic store, because these are either their comics that are, first appearance of Deadpool for $1,500,
right?
Or first appearance of X-Men graded 3.1, that's in the back, or it's freaking X Factor number 168 and 160, some random comics that you can get anywhere, or it's either that or the freaking Funko Pops. Fucking Funko Pops everywhere. There might be a handful of RPG or, stuff that does other stuff. There's a shitload of artists. It's just kind of who's going to be there?
We used to do comic book conventions in order to get comic books because it was so hard to find. But now, like, it's so easy to read them online, or if you're actually looking for the book, there's all kinds. We have the ability to buy them from anywhere in the world, country, whatever. There's apps like Whatnot that let you do, make purchases if that's what you're going to do. So like the reason to have Comic Cons is now no longer finding comics. It's now actor panels and dressing up and buying merch or whatever. And it's like, you call it Comic Con, but it's not really Comic Con, no matter which one it is. It's now like pop culture con of some kind. I mean, comics, they don't matter. Not that they don't matter, but like the reason that we had them doesn't exist anymore. The conditions that caused them.
And I would go, and I'm like the geek that wanted to look for the Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy stuff because that wasn't very popular. Well, now that's a huge part of pop culture. So you've got that crap everywhere.
Right.
So it's not, it's like, oh, that's a cool little D&D thing, but I saw the same thing at Books A Million. It's like,
meanwhile, comic book stores are still not only still struggling, they're really doing rough. Because like, what do we need comic book stores for anymore? I can just order it and have it delivered to my house. So I mean, I go down to my local shop but there's only like 3 books that I'm interested in buying though right now. Like, I don't care about 99. The only thing that I'm buying from Marvel is Ultimate Spider-Man, because Jonathan Hickman's writing it and it's pretty good. And this 3-issue run of Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell, which is by Steve McNiven. It's amazing.
Another fucking train.
I got one more thing and then we can go. We can do jokes. There is a trailer for a movie coming out, and I know you love trailers. This movie's coming out August 20th, I think. And it is here, I'll just play the trailer.
What the heck was that?
Looked like sort of a big turtle in a trench coat.
There is a new enemy. Together we will punish these turtles.
God, I love being a turtle! Cowabunga!
35th anniversary.
Wow.
Time to go back.
Turtles. 35th anniversary being re-released August 20th, 19th and 20th.
Wow. I mean, compared to today's movies, it's terrible, but man, that was great back in the day.
It was
that
cool.
Was great. It was cool. It was funny. It fit the era, the movie,
It was
now you look at it, it's kind of cheesy.
Real people in these heavy foam suits with robot heads that were doing the expressions or whatever. And have puppeteers and actors work together.
Still, I think the new Turtles movies are the best. I love them so much. People that hate on them, I'm like, that's fine. That's your opinion. I love them. Those new Turtle movies to me are the greatest.
There was an animated one a couple of years ago that was really good. And before that, there was like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like live action, but it was like motion capture, Turtles. And that was good. But Alan Ritchson, who plays Reacher on Prime, has complained publicly, like that was the worst and hardest job because it was like uncomfortable, and the production company was like taking no considerations of the actors whatsoever. And it didn't matter that you were like a big actor because they literally replaced you with like a cartoon turtle. So you got no recognition, tons of work, no breaks, and it was a bad experience for the actors. But the movie was all right, I think. All right.
Yeah.
We got to do jokes. Let's see if we can find a funny joke.
Do you know silence is golden unless you have kids? Then silence is suspicious.
Ain't that true?
That's not so much of a joke. I've got a better joke. There's no sound better than children's laughter unless it's 3 a.m. and you don't have kids.
Back in the 1980s, I wanted to be in a band.
Yeah.
Yeah. The band was going to be called Prevention, and it was going to be better than The Cure.
I'm stealing that one. I like that one. It's
all
Friday. Right. I'm in love.
All right, bye.
Politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your daughter